Welcome to Unveiling Your Numerology with me, Millissa Kendall. Let's get unveiled. So today I'm going to take a look at what the numbers actually mean. What's the story of the numbers? How do they get their meaning? We're going to take a look at that right now.
The story of one, understanding the numbers series.
So one is born. We have life. Or like if you're thinking of each number as being a color of paint in the tapestry that makes us, the placements of the numbers is the place in which we paint. You might paint the upper right corner, you might paint the bottom left corner. However, when you choose your color, that would be like the numbers. So like 0 would be clear, it would be absent of. And then like red would be 1 because now we have blood, we have flesh. So it would either be tan or red because it's life created. Now we start to also get shades. So you might get like from pink to very maroon, almost a very dark red, deep red, because we've got the positive and we've got the negative. We have the light and we have the shadow of how the attribute of one is enacted. Every single number has its positive and its negative. For instance, 0 is absent. It is nothing. But like number 1 is life. It is the new beginning. It is the beginning. It is creativity. So when we talk about a number 1 having these potentials, we're talking about that individual, that person that is very self-aware because it is them. The only time they ever realize that there could be another person in their world is when they look in the mirror and they realize, ooh, there's me, but there's a possibility that there's more than me because there is this reflection of me. There could be more. 1 is the newborn baby, learning everything for itself because it can't receive instruction yet because it doesn't really understand. It can only hear what it hears, what it feels, what it senses, what it sees. It's as if it runs through fresh snow because it has no footsteps to follow. So one has to make its own path in the world. It's the first. So you can't tell a 1 what to do. So if somebody has a 1 in that area of their life, they have to figure it out for themselves. They can't hear because they're not meant to hear. They're meant to do it and learn it for them and make it part of them because it's part of their growth. So like 1 is tentative to take that first step, but yet it's ambitious enough and creative enough, and it wants to explore and curious because it has to learn this new world, and every taste is like and it can't decide, and then it finally decides for itself, and it's like, ooh, now I know what I like. 1s are so very self-aware because they have to listen to themselves. They can't listen to other input. When a 1 is in a crowd of people, it is in a way itself. It can get along with other people fine because everybody has, like every number has the 1 in it because 1 is divisible by all numbers. There is 1 in every number after it. So like 1, everybody can relate somewhat to a 1, but 1, it relates to itself and other people, but it's not going to relate to, like, it'll be okay with you having your ideas, but it's not going to absorb your ideas that are separate from it. No, 1 has to find its own unique walk, and it has to take it by itself. 1 is the parable of the caveman who had to discover shelter and had to discover what food was edible, not edible. He had to discover fire. So 1 is about discovery. It's about noticing what's around you. 1 is also Adam. Adam had to name the animals. He had to take what he was shown and give meaning or understanding to them. Nowadays, we don't give meaning to names as deep. We like the name, it sounds beautiful, or there's a family heritage to it. But back in the day, it used to be names meant something. It had characteristics associated with it. 1 is also the infant. So it's the baby learning to suckle. It's learning. It's ever growing and changing and adapting and trying to understand and manipulate and contact its environment. develops, it's developing. But it's developing before your eyes in matter, like in a being.
The positive side of 1 is the independent, bold, brave, and pioneer attitude. It's original. It takes that leadership because it doesn't follow anybody else. It's first. Since it has to be the first to do it, it takes that initiative. It's inventive, creative. It does it for itself. It's self-aware, self-reliant, individualistic. With this big, vast world, 1 is outgoing and will explore it. 1s are also very assertive. Some of the shadow aspects of 1 is the self-centeredness. It could be a show-off and arrogant, very egotistical, because it knows itself and is very confident in itself. It can be stubborn, rebellious, have authority issues, and be domineering. 1 can turn their natural leadership ability into a dictatorship when they force people to follow them. They can become aggressive, hasty, and impatient, and this will cause them to be lonely. They can be unfocused. They will just be avoidant when they're not interested. Let's look at the shape of 1. 1 is a stick, or it can be a stick with a bottom and a neck top. Now that bottom is the stability and the groundedness of this world, and it's like a tree coming out and growing up. But then you also have that head or the neck that is looking to explore. A 1 is stable, it's grounded, it has that bottom base. But it's also up into the air, but it's not looking into the sky. So 1 has that mentality of the top part, and it has that bottom part that gives it stability and groundedness, and it also stands tall by itself. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, look for the next video in this series, Numerology, the Story of 2.